Show kicks off with Randy and Priest in the ring. Priest has the Judgment Day with him. Randy just starts trying to get into Priest's head again, saying, "You know, I know it's been a while that you've been declared the number one contender, but I still just can't see it. I know, you're going to prove me wrong, but come on, man. You know what my nickname is? I'm the Legend Killer. I hate to break it to you, buddy, but you're no legend. So you can see why I'm disappointed that you're the one I'm facing. I want a challenge, not some walk in the park." Priest just gathers himself for a second and says, "You know what? Here's what I'll do. I'll prove I'm good enough. So I want you to pick two opponents to team up together, and I'll beat them both in a handicap match. Because I'm that much better than anyone on this roster. I belong here. The only reason that I'm not considered a legend is because I wasn't a Nepo baby like you. I had to scratch and claw my way into this company, and now that I'm here, I'm not letting this opportunity pass me by." Randy pauses for a second before saying, "All right, since you want to prove yourself so badly, tell you what, I'll pick your two opponents. Let's pick some big, meaty men. How about Omas and Otis? Oh, and another thing, if you lose tonight, then I want the Judgment Day banned from ringside." "You know what? You're on. I'm not afraid of you," Priest says as he drops the mic, and the segment ends. All right, IC Championship number one contenders tournament. Jay versus Kofi. Who will win? Who? Jay
Woo.
wins. Jay wins law.
Damn.
Okay, backstage. Uh, I guess it's backstage. Naomi and Rhea are shit talking each other. Mercedes is next to Naomi when Rhea says, I guess I didn't finish that part. When Rhea says, "Why are you supporting her so much? Aren't you having a match to see if you're going to face me at WrestleMania?" Mercedes looks like she just realized this as well and says, "Well, that wasn't part of my plan. I'm just accepting the kind of offer Eric gave me. When I win that match, Naomi will have no one to face at WrestleMania because I'll vacate my spot." Naomi finally cuts in and says, "You know, you know what? I have an idea. Why don't you face Rhea tonight? Give her a taste of just how bad things are going to be, or how bad things are going to end for her." Rhea just smiles and says, "See you in the ring." As Rhea walks away, Naomi notices someone off in the distance and says, "Oh shit, go, get out of here." Mercedes leaves, and a few moments later, we see Naya and Tamina walk in the frame. "So, what's your plan for the chamber?" Naya says as she looks around. "Same as always. This time, actually succeed." Off screen, we hear someone say, "Oh, look at those beautiful tag titles." Tiffany Stratton and Alexa Bliss walk in the frame. "I know, right? I can't wait until they're around our waist." "And that's cute," Naya replies. "You guys have been a team this whole year, and you think you're finally going to win these titles? Oh, please. All you two have done is lose. How long did it take us to beat you both last time? Less than 5 minutes? The only reason you're going to last longer this time around is because Eric and Paul Heyman hate us, making us defend our titles against multiple teams simultaneously. It should be a crime." "Yeah, well, we're going to get you guys back. You're going to regret eliminating us from the Rumble." "That was the last straw," Bliss says as they walk off. We then have a return promo package for Raquel Rodriguez. Raquel talks about her loss at the Rumble and says how it re-injured her back. Landing spine first on the corner of the monitor caused temporary paralysis. She wasn't able to stand up to beat the 10 count, But now she's looking toward the future. She says that she will return next week and is coming for gold. All right. Solo versus Trick. In the closing moments, we see Trick setting up for a trick shot. As he's going for it, his legs get swept out from under him, causing him to fall. He turns and sees Mello. Mello's laughing. Trick turns around. He gets hit with a spinning solo. Solo starts taunting. He's calling for a Samoan spike. Mello is still ringside as we see him get absolutely speared out of nowhere by Roman. Solo turns to Roman. Roman stays on the outside. They're just talking shit to each other. Solo finally turns around. Trick hits him with a trick shot, and Trick moves on as he picks up the victory against Solo. Okay. Cut backstage. We see Chelsea Green, Piper Niven in the locker room. It's quiet until Chelsea finally blurts out, "Okay, I've had enough. No more messing around. I am going to be taken seriously. We have to lock it. We're gonna put our names on the map. We have to stop worrying about all the other stuff and focus on what's happening in the ring. This is our time, Piper." All right. Damien Priest versus Omos and Otis. Priest wins all.
Okay.
Big B
Just
man,
2-on-1,
not
David
meaty
and
enough.
Goliath. Okay. It's no story of how much he had to overcome. Just
I
Priest
mean,
wins.
it's kind of written. Like it's I don't have to say it. It's there. Look how big these guys are.
Priest with a double south of heaven at the same
Double
time.
south of heaven. Yep. I was thinking it, but I didn't want to say it.
What an insane visual that would be.
On no
On
Moss.
Omos and Otis, just double south of heavens.
Okay. We go backstage. Bloodline are in their locker room. Rock is upset and says, "Roman has been a pain in our side for too long. He tried to take our tag titles away from us. He took Soto out of the IC Championship tournament. And to make matters worse, now we have Jay advancing in the same exact tournament? This can't be happening. We have to put a stop to this. A stop to both of these clowns." Okay. Next match, Chelsea versus Zelina. Chelsea picks up the win. Let's go. Let's go, Chelsea. Woo! All right. Then we get a Jade Cargill promo package, basically saying that she'll do anything to get her hands on Bianca. She says the longer she waits, the worse Bianca will get hurt. All right. And backstage, Austin Theory is in my office and he says, "Did you see that bullshit last week? I had that match won. And that asshat Waller cost me my opportunity. This is it. I want him one on one. It's time we end this." All right, I'll talk to him. In the meantime, relax, Theory. You look stressed. Maybe some meditation might do you good. Whatever. I'm out of here. As he leaves, we follow him outside and we run into Stone Cold asking KO a bunch of questions. "So what's the deal with Randy? Are y'all teaming? I haven't seen you guys hang out since you both beat down Rock. What about Waller? Is he your friend now? And what's the deal with the Undisputed Era? Steve, I'm gonna be honest. I need you to stop asking so many goddamn questions and just let me do what I have to do. I know that you think we have to tell each other every little thing we do with our lives, but we don't, okay? Let me do what I gotta do to get back to the top. I know you don't care about being the best anymore, but I do. So me, uh, let me do my own damn thing without telling. without you being all up in my face every second of every day. Realistically, Steve, I don't need you. I'm in my prime. But for now, you're cool to have around. Don't let that change. Kevin walks off as Steve just takes his seat with a look of just sadness on him. All right. Got Rhea Bloody Rip versus Mercedes Monet. Main event. Mercedes has Rhea on the ropes. She starts getting the crowd into it. She's setting up her finisher. When Nia's music hits, she starts making her way down slowly. Mercedes gets distracted. Rhea rolls her up. Rhea gets away with the win off the distraction by Nia. Mercedes starts arguing with the ref, saying that she kicked out at 2. Nia has made her way into the ring at this point and attacks her from behind. Nia beats down Mercedes, hits her finish on her twice, and we go off the air.
Sami Zayn and Bronson Reed are entering the arena when they get confronted by Paul Heyman, Brock Lesnar, and Andrade. Heyman asks Sami if um, Heyman asks if Sami is proud of what he did last week. Sami chose to get involved in a match against Brock Lesnar and caused a DQ because he knew his partner wasn't going to cut it. Before Sami can say anything, Heyman says he is punishing Sami for his actions last week. He informs him that he has about 5 minutes to get ready and get down to that ring to defend his title against Andrade. Sami looks perplexed by this decision, and Heyman says time's ticking as he walks away. We move right into our opening match in the evening, Andrade versus Sami Zayn for the world title. Towards the end of the match, we see Sami rush in to hit the haluva kick when Andrade catches him with a spinning back elbow. This drops Sami and Andrade heads up top. He goes for the moonsault, but Sami rolls out. Andrade lands, flips again, and tries to hit the moonsault again, but Sami manages to get his feet up, and Andrade stumbles back into the corner. Sami then gets up, rushes across the ring, and connects with the haluva kick and covers Andrade. 1, 2, 3. He retains his title. After the match, Brock Lesnar rushes to the ring and attacks Sami, but Sami manages to escape to the outside. Brock gives chase around the ring, but as he is chasing him around, Bronson Reed appears out of nowhere and runs Brock over. Brock is laid out on the outside of the ring as Andrade also recovers inside the ring, and Bronson and Sami head back up the ramp as Sami taunts them from behind, hiding behind Bronson. We go backstage. Bobby Lashley is interviewed about his match later tonight with Braun Breaker for the US title. Bobby says for most of this year he's felt kind of lost. He forgot who he was and was unable to really find any footing on the SmackDown roster. He had several opportunities to remind people, but was unable to seize those opportunities. But when he got into that Rumble and he got to stare off against Braun, that spark inside him started to flicker. In a weird way, it helped him remember who the hell he was. Who he is, who he is the almighty Bobby Lashley. And tonight, he is going to remind the world who the hell he is when he walks away with that US title. We then cut over. The Rebel Society are speaking about Chorus match tonight with Paige and Shayna. Gallus then chimes up and complains about what happened last week. Last week, Cora and Punk's business interfered with them handling their business out there. Punk asks what they want. They complained a couple weeks ago about them not being there. Then they complained when they were there. Listen, Punk says he understands they want their titles back, and he's sorry that their business uh, interfered with theirs. But instead of feeling sorry for yourselves, how about you just get back on your feet for once? Gallus just exchanged looks with themselves saying maybe if they're given before saying maybe if they're given some respect in the group, they'd think about it. Cora then chimes in and says this is not the time for them to be having problems. Punk is dealing with Seth, she is dealing with Paige, and they are working to get their titles back. They need to be a unit and stop arguing over petty stuff. Gallus and Punk seem to calm tensions as Cora heads towards the ring for a triple threat. We get Cora, Shayna, and Paige. This is a chamber qualifier match. Towards the end of the match, we see Shayna lay out Cora and throw her out of the ring. Shayna then picks up a downed Paige and locks in her chokehold. Paige is on her feet trying to fight out of the move. As Paige is fighting, Io comes rushing down and attacks Shayna from behind. PFC then comes charging down to the ring, and the rest of Damage Control follow. The two groups brawl their way up the ramp and into the back. Back in the ring, we see Paige make her way to her feet and sees a downed Cora on the outside. Paige heads out to get her when Cora nails her with the briefcase. Cora then slides the briefcase in the ring, then throws Paige in behind it. Cora then sets up Paige over the briefcase and nails Jaded on top of the briefcase and covers her for the 1, 2, 3. Cora Jade makes her way into the chamber with the briefcase. Then we go backstage. Seth Rollins is seen watching the triple threat backstage as Kathy approaches for an interview. Seth says this is one of the reasons why he wants to rid the company of Punk. Look at Cora and see what Punk has been teaching her. Instead of teaching her how to be a better wrestler, he's teaching her how to manipulate every rule in the book to win. Punk then confronts Rollins. Punk kind of chuckles at the thought of Seth being unhappy with what he is teaching Cora. Punk says he is teaching Cora on how to be a champion, and you of all people should know you have to bend the rules and use them to your advantage from time to time. Remind me because I'm starting to get up there in age, but didn't you have a couple of stooges around you helping you retain your title at all cost all those years ago during your first world title reign? Or how about Buddy? Your teachings taught that man how to lose a job and get lost in the shuffle. Or how about Jason Jordan? Whatever you passed on to that man cost him his career. My point is, you're a hypocrite, Seth. You act like you don't have skeletons in your closet. Then, to make it worse, whenever something bad happens to you, you find a way to blame it on somebody else. Seth, when I beat you to a pulp next week, I hope it's a reality check for you because everyone knows you need it. Sorry, buddy.
Oh man, why he catching straight?
We then see Cody and Ricochet in their locker room, and Final Testament confronts them.
Final
Yeah,
testicles.
it's not no. Cody immediately stands guard, and Cross tries to ease tensions. Cross says he told them all weeks ago that this was going to happen. He gave his word not to attack at the Royal Rumble, but now Cody and Ricochet have something they want. So, they've once again come to complete their promise. Cody says what do you think? You deserve a title shot at these titles just because you jumped us during our match? Cross says, well, they can either try to put this to bed quickly and accept defeat, or they can just torment them until we inevitably take those titles away. The ball is in your court. Ricochet then gets up and says, you know what, the quicker the quicker we can get rid ourselves of these guys, the better. As a match is about to be made, the OC comes into the locker room. AJ says there is no way you're giving these clowns a title shot. We all know would have won last week if it wasn't for the Final Testament. So instead of just rewarding cowards, how about we have ourselves a little six-man tag? Whoever comes out of that match with a victory gets that title shot. Cross laughs and tells AJ he has no clue what he's asking for. Cody says since it's our tag titles you are challenging for, I agree with AJ. Whoever wins faces us at the Elimination Chamber for these tag titles. We then go from that segment to the ring, setting up the six-man tag. Final Testament win.
Final testicles.
Oh, no, no. Don't undo all of my work this year just because I made a flub. After the match, Final Testament are celebrating their win when Gallus comes out of nowhere and attacks them with chairs. After laying out all of AOP and Cross, Gallus shout at the camera about bringing those titles home with them and how Cody and Ricochet need to start counting their days as champions. We then go backstage. Charlotte is backstage wearing a shirt that says the real women's champion and speaks about her match at Elimination Chamber against Becky. Charlotte says, for starters, read the shirt. The world knows I got screwed at the Royal Rumble, and at Elimination Chamber, I am getting my redemption. Everyone knows the feeling of somebody holding you down or someone who goes out of their way to screw you over, and that is what I experienced. So when I win that title at Elimination Chamber, I know everyone will be fully behind me and supporting me. To be more specific towards the match, I know her weakness, and there will be no escape when the bell rings. But I want to ensure there's no funny business and I can't get screwed over again. So at Elimination Chamber, I'm proposing our match be a last woman standing match. I know they like to call Becky the man, so hopefully she has the balls to accept my challenge because she knows as much as I do. I got screwed. The camera is then cut over to Becky in her locker room with Bailey, and Bailey says, "Well, calling me impressed." She says she could become more insufferable, and actually managed to do it. Becky agrees and says she didn't think she could dig any deeper, but she found a way. Bailey asks Becky if she's going to accept the match stipulation, and Becky says she will. Becky says Charlotte may think she knows her weakness, but endurance is one of her strengths. So a match like Last Woman Standing's play right into her element. Also, it gives her the chance to shut Charlotte up about being screwed over, and then she'll gladly, if it gives her the chance to shut Charlotte up about being screwed over, then she'll gladly take that chance. Bailey says she'll be looking forward to watching their match, and hopefully at Mania they can run it back one more time for that belt. Becky says she wouldn't expect anyone else. We go to Bailey versus Blair. Bailey wins. Um, After the match, we see Becky taken out in the locker room with Charlotte standing over her, counting to 10. After Charlotte counts to 10, Charlotte looks at the camera and tells Bayley that she hopes she wins at the Chamber, just so she could humiliate her at WrestleMania. We then go backstage to Braun Breaker being interviewed about his match against Bobby Lashley. Braun says he could feel something in the air tonight. He understands Bobby feels like he is getting his mojo back, but the dogs are barking and they know what's about to happen. It's my time to shine right now. It's no longer 2008 and he's the hot new thing. It's 2024 and the dogs are ready to go to war. 5. But shows you how long this has been written. We move into the main event Bobby Lashley versus Braun Breaker for the US title. The match is just a hard hitting affair. Both men have their moments where they show off their strength. Braun is able to outpace Bobby at moments in the match, but Bobby has the years of experience to counter Braun's pace. Towards the end of the match, we see Bobby lock in the Hurt Lock on Braun Breaker. Braun struggles for a while before just throwing himself and Bobby through the ropes to the outside. Braun then brawls with Bobby for a moment before throwing him back into the ring. Bobby slowly makes his way to his feet as Braun enters and goes for his momentum spear. As he is about to connect, Bobby jumps over Braun, then rushes the ropes himself. Braun then gets up and turns around just as Bobby is diving through the air, connecting with a spear of his own. Bobby then quickly makes his way over to Braun's head and picks him up and connects with the Dominator. Bobby covers him. 1, 2, kick out. Bobby, though, wastes no time and locks in the Hurt Lock. Braun tries to fight his way towards the ropes and manages to get close before Bobby just powers him back towards the center of the ring. Braun doesn't tap out as he seems pissed off that he can't get out of this and eventually just passes out. When he passes out, the ref rings the bell and Bobby Lashley wins the US title.
No champion, no champion.
After the match, Bobby Lashley is celebrating his title win when out of nowhere Ilya rushes in and attacks Bobby. Ilya lays in an unrelenting assault and doesn't show any signs of stopping. Several referees and security come rushing down to pull Ilya off of Bobby, and the final shot is a close up of Bobby with his mouth obviously bloody and an eye that has already began to swell. Ilya then is shown being held back by security on the other side of the ring with a look of just pure destruction in his eyes as the show goes off the air.